Okay, let's talk about the large IPO that opens today, Mankind Pharma. The company has already raised about 1,300 crores from anchor investors. And, there's a 10% OFS of 4 crore shares. The issue size is huge, over 4,110 crores. The total IPO is 4,300 crores. It opens for subscription today. Rajiv Juneja, the Vice Chairman and Managing Director at Mankind Pharma, joins in. Of course, the market cap of the company post the IPO will be to the tune of over 43,000 crores. So this is a large one. Rajiv, thanks a lot for stopping by and speaking to CNBC TV 18. I want to first start by asking you about the kind of growth that you see in the domestic market. I mean, compared to the industry growth of, say, 10% in the last 3 years, Mankind Pharma has outperformed with over a 12% growth. Is this outperformance something that you can sustain? Can you give us about a 2 to 3 year time horizon? What would the company be doing?
I mean, keeping certain regulatory things in mind, I cannot talk about the future, but look at the past of Mankind and make your own conclusion. 27 years back, we started with just nothing in our hand, just 50 lakh rupees, and created this kind of a organization where prescription-wise, we are number one company, revenue-wise, we are fourth largest company, we are one of the fastest and the youngest company in India, reached to this particular level. Talk about anything about Mankind, you'll find that it is a very unique kind of a company. We have a wonderful consumer division. The chronic side contributes to the sales of Mankind to the tune of 34% and growing at a pace of 1.4 times to pharma industry. Even in the acute side, our growth is 1.2 times more than the Indian pharma industry. So what I can talk about future, you can make your own conclusion about that.
Rajiv, sorry, you said 34% consumer. What is 34%? I missed that. Morning.
Chronic side. Chronic
side. Okay, got that. And it's growing faster than the overall pharma side. Got that. Now, could you tell us so you got the pharma business and you got a very strong consumer healthcare portfolio as well, which has been doing very well, and it's very visible with a lot of advertising, etc. And kind of does, as you say, does seem differentiated as compared to other products offered by other companies, etc. Could you tell us how much do you spend on advertising broadly on the consumer side? And talk to us a little bit about the growth potential here on the consumer healthcare business.
See, when we started the company in 95, and when you're nothing, and you want to basically make a mark in the pharma industry that you should be noticed, the first thought was what? Be contrarian. So first you'll find in Mankind is that instead of starting like any other pharma company from bigger cities, we started bottom approach. And once we reached to a level, like for example, 50 crore rupees in 2000, in 1995, we were 5 crore rupees company. Our thought was always one that whatever we are doing in a year, can we do in 1 month? On this philosophy, we have always worked. In 2007, when we reached to this 500 crore rupees sales, then we thought of launching this consumer division. Why so? There's a reason for that. Because even in those days, because we were a small company, came from smaller town Meerut, people were still saying that it's a small company and they sell not affordable medicines, they sell cheap medicines. So it disrupted the market. So we wanted to give answer to the industry. So launched consumer division because intangible benefit is when your advertisement is there on TV, your brand is also visible. Corporate branding is also visible. So keeping that in mind and work very aggressively. And today, all the products of consumer division, Manforce Condom is number one, Prega News is number one, Unwanted is number one. And not only that, they command 30% share Manforce Condoms, 80% share in Prega News, 60% plus in Unwanted. So we have always been a kind of organization where thought is not for the sake of going and covering the market, always dominating and leadership.
Okay. All right. Hi, Rajiv. First of all, welcome to the stock markets. We're looking forward to this issue. And, you would have built this business very, very passionately over the last many years. But, before my colleagues take over, I just wanted to ask you one question. It appears all the senior appointments are from the family itself. Now, from a stock market perspective, you're like a professionally run company. Do you think at some point of time, you could open up to that thought? That's a bit of a concern. So I ask you, Rajiv.
So 3 months, we were just touring. We went to US, Singapore, Mumbai. From last 3 months, we're hardly there in office. So who is running the company? All the professionals. In last couple of years, this question was right 4 years back. In last couple of years, the job has been delegated. Every department, everything is run by professionals. Otherwise, a company with a 20,000 people cannot be controlled, cannot be run like this.
Sure. Mr. Janeja, I think Nigel was pointing to the fact that that the CEO is from the family, the COO is also from the family. So if you look at other pharmaceutical companies which are listed and which you also want to compete with in tier 2 and metro towns, they all have professionals on board and are the top managements. So will that transition happen? Is that something that investors have brought up? Is that a concern that investors have brought up on the road shows? And is that a transition which might take place?
Nobody talked about this, but this thing is also playing in our head. One thing you'll find in Mankind in medium term to long term, that family will be just sitting in the board. The rest of the things will be done by the professionals, because ultimate goal of organization is making this organization an institution. That with this, we are also working internally how to go forward in this particular line. And this will definitely happen.
Sure. Mr. Janeja, so that is a thought that maybe there could be some amount of transition of the top management to maybe, entities or people who are not connected directly with the family. Just a last question from my end is the Panacea Biotech acquisition. This is something which is brought up as a concern amongst a couple of analysts that maybe that 1,800 crores was too expensive for those 70 brands because only 2 seem to be outperforming within that space and sales have been stagnant. Margins are questionable. So the end point is that when is the payback of that 1,800 crores of the Panacea Biotech acquisition? And in hindsight, do you think that was possibly a correct move by the company?
See, whenever you look at any organization from a distance and you have only data in your hand, this kind of analysis is not wrong, actually. But just scratch the surface a bit, slice and dice, and you find that this is an amazing kind of an acquisition. I give you some reasons for that. Number one, we got their transplant business, which is very, very difficult to enter. We asked a question, can we create this kind of a business? The answer was no. There are approximately 2,000 doctors who do organ transplant operations in India. Out of 2,000, 400, 500 doctors do 60% of the work. They are very niche, very difficult to enter. So they have great portfolio in that side, number one. Number second, they have one product, Sitcom, which is their patent product. How many products are patented in India? You can ask yourself. Rare.
Sure.
We got that. It is it can multiply to a different level. Third, the Glycid, again, chronic side. Still number 2 brand in its category. And not to forget Nemolid, which is an iconic brand, not doing good. That would be shifted in our consumers. And on the top of it, gross margins of Panacea are more than Mankind. And once these products will be shifted, manufacturing will shift in our own factories, gross margins will further improve. I'm keeping everything in mind. This is a fantastic kind of a acquisition. This is basically one organization which is not properly, its products are not being properly utilized, exploited to the fullest. We feel we can do wonderful with this, and we are still wonderful. And this kind of companies, if they,
Mr. Janeja?
Yeah.
Got that. I understood that. So you're saying that the gross margins of will pick up, I'm sure, in the future as well. But I wanted to understand more about what the growth plans are in the consumer business as far as exports are concerned. Any thoughts to take any of your consumer brands to a market like the US? And what could be in the pipeline for the company over the next 1 to 2 years?
Why US only? Why export only? Why not India only? We're a domestic company. 97% sales of Mankind comes from India only. So 97% focus is India. And we see as far as the consumer products are concerned, it's not number of products which matters. It's basically, the same products, how big it can become. So look at Mankind or Unwanted or Praga News. There can be a question that Praga News commands 80% market share, but people do not know generic version of pregnancy card sells many times more than Praga News. So we are still supposed to crack that. It can multiply to a different level. It can still become very big. On the side of Manforce condoms, we are premiumizing Manforce.
Got it. Good to hear that passion. So it's wonderful. And Mankind has been a clear disruptor in what was a pretty sterile market. And kudos to that. Just a quick question, Mr. Juneja. You know, your stronghold when you started was rural, and I think that still is the stronghold in India, right? Domestic. Will that remain that way? Do you have some numbers? What's the split when we look at Mankind's sales, urban and rural, etc.?
See, I mean, that legacy still plays in people's head. Actually, 5-6 years back, it was all right. In last couple of years, 4 or 5 years, we have added 18 more divisions. We have opened a new office in Mumbai. We hired a top professional from a different company who was running the chronic side of the business. Look at any which way. We are doing fantastic in metro. We are doing very good in rural.
Okay, urban as well.
You see industry as a whole.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Research spends for a pharma company at 2.5% of sales seems a little low. Would that go up over a period of time?
Could you repeat the question again, please?
The spend on research at about 2.5% of sales seems a little low on the lower side. Would that go up?
This will not grow up because our focus is towards India side, and you're comparing with other companies, those who have more exposure towards export side. That's one reason.
Okay.
This will remain the same.
All right. Mr. Juneja, before we let you go, just one quick clarification. Has, the related party transactions with, say, your subsidiaries and associates been brought up when you have met investors? You've seen a strong anchor allocation, but is that one of the concerns which has been brought up in the past 3 years?
But it has never been done. Otherwise, the names you have heard in our anchor list, names like Canada Pension Fund, GIC, and BlackRock. You name any foreign institute. You look at any Indian domestic mutual fund, whether it's SBI or HDFC or ICICI, everybody has gone for it because they must have seen something. And we basically have a wonderful governance.
But has it been brought up as a concern? Have there been questions asked on that?
Not at all. Not at all. When the questions were asked, we replied. We gave the clarification as well. And don't forget that 2 investors are already sitting in the board of Mankind from last many years.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Rajiv, thanks so much for stopping by, filling us in with a good idea about the company. How do you see business as well moving ahead? But I'll tell you what, Rajiv, when you join us post-listing, we'll be looking forward to some numbers, some guidance on how you see the company shaping up. For the time being, appreciate you joining in and giving us all of those details. Well, time to